It's been a while. It's good to be back. Hello and welcome back to the RLPC Twitch channel for the first time here in season 20. What a milestone we've hit here tonight. Thank you all for joining me for the announcement of the draft lottery tonight. We got all three on the way today. The P4, the big event, going to be happening last. First off, we'll start with independent and then head to major second before, of course, hitting that P4 again at the end. So after some intrigue into the looking at of merging the drafts this season, will not be happening at the moment. As I mean, we have to announce everything now, so that is unfortunate. But we are looking at it for the future. And at most, it'll happen probably in season 22. So that's when you can look forward to all of that good stuff. But an executive decision for this year has been made to keep the drafts separate for this season. So, without further ado, you're not here to watch my face. You're here for the draft lottery. And I just realized that I have the wrong lottery already set up. So let me change that real quick. While I'm waiting for to update everything, I will also pull up Twitch chat, and this can also double as an Ask an Admin section here on the channel. So if you have any questions, all wonderful 24 of you guys in chat that you would like to ask me, you can pop those in the Twitch chat here, and I will get back to you when I see them pop up. But let's get these independent picks loaded into our graphics package. Also, that is another thing that we'll be debuting tonight with the draft boards themselves. Is the first thing that is coming out from the new graphics package that we have. Ooh. It's not that different. We just decided to not use the red and gold anymore, so we are back to blue and silver for the graphics package this season. So that definitely an improvement in terms of keeping the branding of RLPC concise and similar. I did see a question or two in chat. All right, that's the first half done because I have to manually input all the graphics and stuff. Jerseys. That is one thing that is also kind of underway. That'll be something that will happen mid-season. Org merch is probably a more adequate name for it, but hopefully by mid-season, I'll have designs for every team for a t-shirt, a sweater, and a hat, possibly, for each organization, and those may be going live by the end of the season in some sort of shop on something like Teespring or Redbubble or something. We're still figuring out the providing service. We were going to go with Teespring, but apparently they don't ship to Canada. And as a Canadian, I don't like that because I want to order the merch that I designed, please and thank you. So we're looking for an alternative at the moment in order to actually ship to everybody who may want the merch. So that is kind of the first thing that needs to be figured out before we actually move forward with figuring out the rest of the designs and things like that. So that's what's holding us up on that front for now. This is much more tedious than I thought. Going in and out of all of the folders that I have everything set up with. Should have been faster and already done, but I realized I loaded in the wrong draft, so we are moments away from actually having this all correct. Just wanted to double check everything, and I've already found about 6 picks that I messed up. There we go. That's all of them. All right, now we're ready to go. Now you can stop staring at my face. And let's see who gets the 16th pick here for the draft. I could have actually talked about this earlier, but I have behind me some of the numbers behind the picks this year. I cannot go into depth about them, so don't ask me questions about how we got the numbers because I cannot tell you. But what I can tell you is that the two teams with the highest chance of getting the number one overall pick in independent this year are the Beavers and Toucans at a 16.6% chance each. And in second overall, the Wolves and Wizards both with a 9.5% chance of that number one pick. That does mean that with a discrepancy that large between the top two teams, you'd expect the Beavers and Toucans to hopefully get top four picks. Fingers crossed. Because, 16% isn't like guaranteed number one pick, but there's a lot of balls in our cranker thing. You know how they have it with the balls in like the NHL or NBA draft where they like float around and you pick one. We use a similar sort of style thing behind the scenes. So there's a lot of different things that you could have picked for each of these teams. So hopefully they get some good picks. At the bottom of the list, though, the Admirals, Grizzlies, and Yellow Jackets, all with a 1.8% chance of getting the number one overall pick at the very bottom of the table. So expect to see them go pretty quickly here at the bottom. But without further ado, now I've gone over a couple of the numbers. We may as well get things going. And with the 16th pick, we have the Admirals are going to be taking the final pick of the first round of our independent draft. That was expected based on the numbers that we just heard. One of the teams tied for the lowest chance, and they just happened to get it. So that will be our first pick. At number 15, whoops, I meant to do just a fade, but there you go. Centurions coming in. They were tied for the second lowest overall odds. So moving down a couple of places, but not too drastic for them overall. It's not a heart-wrenching, they dropped like 10 places or anything like that. A fairly successful team last season, obviously winning the entirety of independent. So that'll help out. With the odds and stuff as well. So there is your number 15 pick. At number 14 is going to be the Scorpions. These guys up a little bit right in the middle of the odds for our draft board. So dropping a good few places, unfortunately, here. One of the things that I know has been talked about a lot this season is the lack of independent draftees. And Scorpions falling down to 14. I might even be unable to draft a team with that pick, unfortunately, depending on how many more draftees we actually are able to get into the league. So that, not a particularly good thing to fall down here. But up next with the 13th pick, it's going to be the Wildcats. Still afloat, though, are the two teams at the bottom, the Grizzlies and Yellow Jackets, with two of the worst odds, and they still have not gotten a pick yet. So they're moving up a considerable amount and might actually be able to take a decent player here in the independent draft by moving up the board this far. The Wildcats are going to come in at 13, but at 12... there they are, the Yellow Jackets coming in, one of the worst odds teams. Going to move up a good few spots here, though. So that's good for them. And 11, going to be the Galaxy, also a mid-range team. This is kind of about where they expected, maybe dropping a place or two, but nothing catastrophic either. Going to start breezing by a few more of these picks. The Sockeyes coming in at 10. This is almost exactly as expected based on the odds, so not going up or down more than a position. So not too bad for them. Grizzlies are still alive, though, which is kind of wild that they're going to be able to get into the top 8 with the Rhinos going to number 9, a team tied for the third best odds with a 7.5% chance. Going to fall down to 9th, unfortunately. But that is going to do it for the first half of the draft. Now, top 8 picks. Every pick here will definitely get to take a player. And the Thrashers are going to come in at number 8 here. One of the teams that's also a bit farther down, the second worst odds as well, 2.4% for them. And they are able to move up into the top half. The Grizzlies are still alive somehow. And they won't go yet. The Cyclones are going to come in at number 7. I think moving up a place here in relation to where they would have been. So a good win for them on the day. But I mean, I don't know how the Grizzlies haven't gone yet. But we're getting up into territory where the Wolves, Wizards, Beavers, Toucans could also be called if they do fall down a considerable margin. And at number 6, we have the Wolves falling down a little bit. They were tied for the second best odds and are not going to luck out this time, unfortunately falling to 6. Possibly, more unfortunately, though, number 5 is going to be the Toucans, falling from their position, tied for first with the Beavers in overall percentage, and are going to be outside the top 4 in picks for the independent draft. And our first pick inside the top 4, though, is going to be the Wizards. The Grizzlies are still alive somehow. And the Wizards, who were tied for the second best odds, expected 3rd or 4th, are going to come in that 4th position. And now, at number 3, finally, the Grizzlies come off the board, and they move up from tied for last, expecting to get the 16, 15, 14. They're going to pop all the way up to number 3 here in the independent draft, and that is going to leave the Beavers and the Dragons as the final 2 picks. The Dragons having a 7.5% chance at that number 1. Beavers coming in with a 16.6. Who is it going to be? And it will go as expected. The Beavers going to take the number 1 overall pick. The Dragons going to get number 2. Can't be too upset about that if you're the Dragons, moving up a couple of spots as well, and are going to get a very high independent draft pick. But the Beavers came in with the worst odds, and they are going to come out of it with the best independent pick here for season number 20 in our LPC. So that is going to do it for independent. I'm going to load up the major draft picks right now and come back and take a look at the chat here. If anybody has any comments, concerns, or questions, ask an admin. I'm going to put that back on the board for all of you as we get the major draft ready to go. All right, going to check in with chat. How much did Dirty pay you for that Grizzly spot? I don't reveal my finances. Well, I mean, it could have been worse. I'll say that it could have been worse because for the P4 draft, actually, one of the teams with the worst odds possible actually got the number 1 pick, but we realized we messed up part of the calculation, so I had to do the whole thing again. So it could have been worse. It could have been worse. All right, just about ready to go. Got to load up a couple of more picks here for Major. One more to go, and then we can take a look at the draft odds for them as well. There we go. All right, for the Major odds. Actually, I'm not sure if they are. You know what? I don't think they're actually different from the normal P4. Oh no, they are. They have to be different than the normal P4 odds. But I do not see where they are listed. Oh well. Well, I think they actually might be all even, considering that it's just a pure draft league and not based on anything last season. So everybody coming in with equal odds would actually quite make sense. No, we will do the P4 draft is the one that's most anticipated. So for the purpose of dramatic effect, I'm doing it last. You're welcome. So we will see how the P4 draft is after the major draft is revealed. Going to make sure that this is set up correctly. Everybody coming in with equal odds, I believe. And the first draft pick in, well, the 16th draft pick, the last draft pick in Major, although I think it's a snake draft anyway. Don't quote me on that, but it should be if it's not. It's going to be the Ascension picking 16th here off the bat for the Major draft. It is a snake draft. Thank you very much. So Ascension will get 16th pick, but they'll also get the 17th pick, so they can do some work there. At number 15 is going to be the Cobras with their Major pick. As every team is making a return to Major this season, we are doing 16 teams. This is like official confirmation of that as well, if that wasn't already known to people. Definitely coming back this season in full swing with 16 Major teams. The Kings are going to be at 14. And number 13 is going to be the Bulls. At number 12 is going to be the Sharks. Number 11, the name that I had to edit because it was so long, the Lumberjacks. And number 10 is going to be the Eagles, right in the middle. At number 9 is going to be the Pirates, and at number 8 on the other side of the middle is going to be the Panthers, making a return to Major after a hiatus. The Bulls also making a return after a hiatus as well. I'm seeing if I can remember from last season who the other two teams were. I'm not 100% sure on the Kings, but that is my next best guess. But the Ducks are going to be in at 7 and at 6. One of the most fabled organizations in RLPC, with number 6 in Major, our reigning champions, going to be picking about halfway through the first round. At number 5 is going to be the Whitecaps. Dirty, I'm sure you're happy to see that. Nice high pick for you guys. The Lions are going to be coming in at number 4. At number 3 is going to be the Storm. And now the top 2 picks are going to be between the Flames and the Hawks. So without further ado, the first 2 picks, number 1 overall, is going to the Flames in the Major draft. They're going to have their choice of the litter. But keep in mind, because it's a snake, they will also be picking 32nd in the second round. So they'll have to wait over 30 picks to get their top 2 players. But the Flames are going to get the first overall pick here. The Hawks going to get the consolation prize of number 2. So that is our major draft for this season. All of these orders as well will be posted. These final board graphics that you see here, they'll be posted as well in the Discord. I've sent them all to Mike, so he will relay those out later tonight whenever he is off of work. So that is major. Now, of course, both of those drafts, one major that's only for one league, independent also only for one league. But what you all are really here for is the P4 draft order. This is the one that some teams' seasons could hinge on depending on if they get a good pick or not. So, will they be able to turn this around? Some teams having some pretty good odds at that number one overall pick. Just from memory, I remember the top team with a 13.7% chance at the number one pick is the Lumberjacks. Number two at a 9.8 is the Pirates, the Kings, Panthers, and Storm, all tied at a 7.8% chance. Now, at the bottom of the list, you got the Eagles with a 3.7% chance, and the Bulls and Spartans both at a 3.4. The Bulls actually were the organization that got the number one overall pick in our previous roll of all of this, but then realized there was an error with our calculations and then had to go back through and edit them. And these are actually all the correct percentages this time. So, after a bit of a mishap the first time around, we are back and have everything corrected and have the official and fair draft order for this season. I will also open it up again. I don't think I need to say this every time, but if you do have any questions, then let me know in chat. Top four in independent. I see that. I see you. Let me pull that up real quick, just so I can give you that answer. Top four in independent was the Beavers at number one, Dragons at number two, the Grizzlies, who had the worst odds in independent, or were tied for the worst odds in independent, moving up to number three, and at number four was the Wizards. Toucans were also at five. I'll add that in there just to make it around top five in independent. All right, just another pick to go, and then we are set and ready for the P4 draft. And all right, we are ready to go. Now, I will also say, I just realized I forgot to export it, but after the draft order reveal tonight, we will also be announcing our official nominations for the season. You know what? Just to keep the suspense going, why don't we do the Hall of Fame nominations now? We'll do it now. The official list of Hall of Fame nominees for this season. Let me load it up. Get it in here. Slap it on right over my face. Let's put it in here. Whoops. Fine. Fine. Apparently, I didn't actually write in the names of people before I went live, so fine. I'll do that later. Ugh. We'll do it at the end. I guess I can't hold suspense then. All right. The P4 draft order. I went through the top 5 and the bottom few as well. So let's see who is going to be the draft order here. Saw a question as well in chat while we get this going about the Hall of Fame. What is the Hall of Fame? So the Hall of Fame, pinged about it a couple of times in the announcements channel, is a actual legitimate Hall of Fame. The current Hall of Fame, I believe we are going to rename to the Honors List. So instead of just being a list of all of the all-stars, runners-up, and champions in the league, it's like a legitimate voted-in system that we have now to actually award players, organization staff, and RLPC staff with their name in the Hall of Fame for their work that they've done for us over the seasons that they've been here. So those nominations were going for a very long time. We had them going for, I believe, about 2 weeks. I stopped the the nominations yesterday night. And over the course of the day, the admins and I have gone through and selected from a list of 7 or 8 people for each category, a top 5 that are our official nominees. So there will be a round of community voting where everybody has the ability to vote on the people that are nominated and will allow them to get votes to get into the Hall of Fame. And there will be one round that is staff only. And it's not just admins; it's all staff, managers, and admins. So every member who is a part of staff will get an extra round of voting as well. So that will allow us to induct 2 members from each category into the Hall of Fame this year, as well as a couple of legacy members that we will also be announcing closer to the time of. One we have already announced, and that is iLethal. Rest in peace for those of you who do not know. Was involved in a fatal car accident back in June, and that was the cause for his sudden disappearance. So rest in peace, and he is our official first member of the RLPC Hall of Fame. So there you go. So we'll have 6 members coming in this year, 1 community voted and 1 staff voted in each of the player, organization staff, and RLPC staff categories. All right, so that's enough of a ramble on that. And now let's ramble about some draft picks. At number 16, you've waited long enough, is going to be the Ducks. Unfortunately, they are going to be bumped down from the 3rd worst odds all the way down to last. Herons, the champions of AA last year, so one of their teams becoming a champion, and they were great, and that certainly didn't help their odds in this draft. They had a 4% chance, and unfortunately, they fall down to the bottom. In number 15... Wait, that's not right. There we go. Is the Ascension Org. They are going to fall down from actually the exact same percentage as the Ducks, 4%, down to the second last pick of the P4 draft. So, to be fair, these are not critical drops. They're man, that sucks. But you're falling from what would be 13th to 15th or 13th to 16th. It's not that big from the projections that we had in terms of trying to gather the odds. So it's not a terrible loss. But coming in, and one of the teams that's tied for the worst odds, coming in at 14, is going to be the Bulls. Unfortunate, the org that I just signed for, so that's great for me. They come in with the worst odds and will come out with a couple extra places from where they could have been in 16th. So, you know what? In terms of gain, loss, that's about average. Number 13 is going to be the Eagles, who are the largest dropper. Oh, no, they actually, no, they were supposed to be at 14 based on percentages. So they move up one spot. Good for you. Not much to talk about there. But this is where things get a little hairy. And I'll give you a little bit of anticipation. This is our first big drop of the draft order. So coming, and I actually, you know what, I should go through the teams again that are way up at the top. Lumberjacks have a 13.7% chance. Pirates have a 9.8, tied in third place with 7.8 each. The Kings, the Panthers, and the Storm. Those are your top 5 coming into it. And unfortunately, at number 12, it's going to be the Kings, falling a grand old, possibly 9 places, down to number 12. An unfortunate circumstance for them. But, yeah, somehow the Spartans are still alive as well. They had a 3.4% chance and are somehow still in it going into the top 11 picks here. But unfortunately for them, they're going to be at number 11. And that is where their journey will end. They climb up the ladder a considerable amount, but this is where they fall. The teams with the lowest percentages at the moment, the Lions and Whitecaps, with both 4.5 to 5% chance. And a bunch of the top teams still up there, though. At number 10, it's going to be the Hawks. They are just a little bit above the Whitecaps, so not a huge loss. I think they were projected 8th and fall to 10th. Not too big a deal, realistically. You would have liked to see it go the other direction, but at 10, it is for them. And to round off our first half of the board here, you hate to see it. I swear to God, they're cursed. At number 9, it's the Lumberjacks. 13.7%. And they fall down to number 9. Oh boy. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate for the Lumberjacks. That is the largest fall I think I've seen for a team with nutty odds. And unfortunately, they fall to 9 here. But now we have our top 8, so there's still a good amount of teams left in the hunt. Lumberjacks, Pirates, top of the board in terms of percentage. Panthers and Storm also up there. The Cobras and the Sharks are next in the order. And then the Flames, who are actually our number 8 pick, are going to be off the board exactly where they were projected to be at number 8. So that goes exactly as expected. Actually, they were supposed to be number 9, so they move up a spot. Woohoo. And yeah, that's exactly as expected. At number 7, we have the Cobras, who were tied for the 7th pick, so that makes complete sense. Not much to say there. At number 6, one of the teams with bad odds who are still in the hunt as we push forward here, the Whitecaps, who had a 5% chance, were expected to go, I believe that is 11th or 12th, go up to number 6. So congratulations to Dirty Dirty and the Whitecaps on staying alive and getting up in the list. Actually, yes. When we get up to number 3, I will do predictions, because I think only me and Mike are the ones that know what team is where. So I can do predictions. I think that would be kind of funny when we get up to the top 3. So you got Cobras at 7, the Whitecaps at 5, or at 6, excuse me, and at number 5. Oh, fine. Okay. I will wait just for you, Mew. You're welcome. That actually gives me time to pull up Twitch and start or do a prediction. Twitch. Here we are. Head into mod view. I know about chat. I know how to do this. No, I'm good. I don't need a tutorial. All right. Predictions. Here we go. All right, I have the top 3 teams ready to go. So once we get to the top 3, I'll do predictions just because I think it's fun. Lions. That's who's at number 5. That is the second time tonight I've actually said the word Lions before showing their pick on screen, so I apologize. But the Lions are going to move up from, I think, 12th or 13th to number 5 here. So that's a big W for Lou and that whole organization. And the last team with odds that are moving up in this draft is the Sharks, who are tied for 6th. The Panthers, Storm, Pirates, and Lumber. Oh, no. Have the Sharks gone at this point? No, the Sharks haven't. I'm losing my mind. Who hasn't gone yet? Never mind. I'm losing it. Oh, the Lumberjacks went already. It's the Pirates, Panthers, Storm, and Sharks. There you go. That's who's left. At number 4, before we get to the predictions, it's the Sharks. They are going to move up a couple spots. So that's pretty good. And that means that the top 3 picks, are all going to teams who had or were tied for the third best odds or higher. So that's nice. The Pirates, who were second, 9.8%. The Panthers and Storm both with 7.8%. Coming into the final 3 picks, I'm going to put it up for 1 minute. So get your predictions in fast. Pirates, Storm, or Panthers. The Pirates have the highest odds. I will also say that by 2%. So it's not a whole lot, but a decent margin. Use that to inform your prediction. Here we go. We'll do predictions. I will also say Raid is the owner of the Panthers organization, but Gatman does own the Storm organization, so that could still work. Legend, which one is your organization? I don't remember what P4 you have. I gotcha. Got your predictions in if you haven't already. That is a lot of money put on the Panthers. I love how nobody voted for the Pirates. That's hilarious. So Panthers got 12K put on them. Thank you, Mew. Number 2, Storm, with 6% of the vote. And Pirates get nothing. So 0 love there. Yeah, no, it makes sense why you don't. But, I mean, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to figure out where the Pirates pick. Because at number 3, and Mew, you're going to hate this, it's the Panthers. Unfortunately, they are going to fall exactly where they should, at number 3. Based on the odds, Lumberjacks plummeting down the order, Panthers staying exactly where they want. So, the last 2 teams left in it are the Storm and the Pirates. Legend must hate this. And, Dirty, you may just be right. As the number 1 pick in the Season 20 season is going to go to the Storm, number 1 overall. And whoever voted for Storm, you're getting a big payout because of Mew's generous donation. The Pirates are going to be at number 2. Legend is so happy it's not 1. 2 is not that much better, man. Unfortunate, but hey, that is what happened. We are going to very quickly. I'm going to take a couple minutes. I'll leave this up on the screen for all of you to view, for those who are just getting here as well, and as I go and officially edit the Hall of Fame nominations. So stick around for that. I will be back in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I hope you guys like it. The music you are going to hear tonight is produced by the lovely Takro, a founder of RLPC, who's come back and has allowed us permission to use his music on stream. So we hope you enjoy that. I'll leave this up for a couple minutes while I get that finished, and then we'll come back and sign off with that.
Did you know that Walmart is Canadians' #1 choice to save money on back-to-school shopping? Get dorm ready with low prices on top tech, dorm
All right, welcome back. Here we go. Hall of Fame nominees for season one. Thank you to everybody who submitted nominations this year. We had a bunch of nominations, lists slightly longer than the ones you're about to see appear on screen. We've whittled it down just a tiny, tiny little bit because there were a lot of really, really class people that were on these lists. But we wanted to get a final five for each category. Now, I will say that the staff in both categories, RLPC staff and organization staff, both of them were first based on how many different people had submitted those people for the position. So a lot of this is up to a lot of people who are like, those guys are pretty cool. So that's why some of the names are on here that may otherwise, you may think otherwise they might not be. In the players category, we do have a lot of very class players, though, despite none of them receiving multiple suggestions for that specific category. But without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the Hall of Fame nominations for season number 20. I will also add, if your name is not on one of these lists, we are going to be doing the same thing every year. Season 20, we're going to have a lot of catching up to do. So if you don't see your name as a nomination this year, hey, that doesn't mean you can't still be a first ballot Hall of Famer next season in season 21. But for season 20, here are your official nominations. In the players category, we have Rex, Flip, Oibu, T-Man, and Jeffrey. Flip with a 1 in the name as well. That one, the major Flip. For organization staff, we have Oibu, Gatman, Raid, Prisma, and Dirty Dirty. And for finally RLPC staff, Mike, Frog, Bardtane, Dangerous Go, and myself. Thank you to those who put in nominations for all of these members. Thank you very much from myself. But those are your official nominations. I will drop it in chat now and as well in an announcement after the stream is finished. But we do have our Hall of Fame voting ready to go. So, without further ado, you guys can have at it. There is your official Google Forms link. So, there are your nominations. So with that form will be open until September 1st. Not a whole lot of time to get your nominations in. So do it quickly and do it now, as the form will close on September 1st. We're hoping to, by the end of the weekend, have everything counted and ready to go so that we can announce them after the final draft over the course of that weekend on the 2nd. So get your votes in, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we hope that this was a solid kickoff to season number 22. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Adios.